The things you can find at the Goodwill Outlet never ceases to amaze me. And last week, I found this. It is a lottery scratch ticket. And today, we're going to scratch it and see if I'm a winner. So let's take a look at some of the things I picked up at the Goodwill Outlet when I was there, besides that lottery ticket. Again, of course, toys. There's always toys there. This is a Black Panther Hot Wheels, and it looks like it hasn't even been played with. It's not marked up or anything, so that'll be good in my booth. These little Imaginext guys, always like picking them up. That one's a Jurassic Park. I got a couple of pins. One looks a little bit like a premium cracker, a saltine. The other is a little piggy. So that was fun to pick up. And I quite often will pick up these slide viewers. They don't always work anymore, the lights and sometimes the battery damage. But these ones were in pretty good shape. I got this one, which is kind of a handheld tiny one, battery operated, and this larger one, which does have a plug, and the plug was in the box. Both of these came with the box. I'll quite often notice the box first because of the graphics on it, which are usually quite striking, because graphics in those days were quite fun. The design, the shapes, the geometric shapes, the simple colors and lines. So that's for the smaller one. And then the larger one, also Sawyer. It's a little bit newer, so you can see it's got pictures on it, which earlier ones mostly had drawings. Pictures weren't really incorporated into the artwork yet. But yeah, shows you the viewing area. So those are handy little things. They look good in a booth. I do have a couple in there. They do move. They sit for a while because not a lot of people have access to slides. But I do also offer slides because I will find slides as well. Not anything with people's personal stuff on there or people themselves, but a lot of nature stuff. Recently I found a whole handful of slides that were all about Toronto and Niagara Falls, and there are about 20 of them, and they would sell because people look back at that time and they're like, oh, I remember that vacation. So these little viewers, rather than get the whole slide projector, they're handy. So you can also take those slides and convert them into digital format now. So a lot of people will option to do that instead. I picked up this bathroom set. It's got it's a NHL hockey one. It's got a cup and a soap dish and a toothbrush holder, and looks like it's never been used. So that'll go in my booth. I'm always on the lookout for fabrics, vintage fabrics in particular. My sister does a lot of interesting things with vintage fabrics, and she donates a lot of it to charities and bazaars and fundraisers, and she creates quilts and does all kinds of things with them. So this one I'll give to her. It's got a really cool hibiscus pattern on it, and it's a little bit flannel-y, so I'm not sure what it was meant to be, if it was supposed to be for a bed or what, but maybe some pajamas. Anyways, I thought it was nice, and they're in really good shape. It looks like it's never been used, so yeah, that'll go to my sister. I also picked up these Tip Top Tailors. I don't know if you had them in the States, but here in Canada it was a pretty common name at the malls. People would go there for their menswear, and these are clothing bags. If you bought a suit, they'd give you one of these to put your suit in, and I thought I would put those in my booth because you just can't get these anymore. I mean, I guess there are a couple of places that would still hand them out, but I don't know if Tip Top is even around anymore. So they're a little bit older, and I think some people will find them nostalgic, and they may pick them up in my booth. I picked up this bag. I've been picking up bags lately. The ones that are in really good shape I do pick up, and they have to have an interesting color or pattern, interesting design to them. This one's great for the beach or just for a day out. You can put a lot of stuff in it. It's in pretty good condition. Of course, I'll clean them first, and then off to my booth they will go. This is a big eye artwork that was pretty common at I think the 60s and 70s, probably more so the 60s, late 60s. I really like them. I think they're so cute, but usually they come with two, so I couldn't find the other one. I only found this one, but there are two characters on here, so I thought I'm going to grab it anyways, because otherwise it's just going to end up in a landfill or ruined or destroyed. So I don't know that these sell very well anymore. Just a few interesting things I wanted to share. I found a box full of vintage cards, and I thought I'd pull out some of the more interesting ones to show you. Santa Claus, it's a Norman Rockwell card with tiny little elves. I've never seen that one before. These cute little vintage ones. None of them are too old, but these are kind of cute. Vintage looking anyway. They're made by Regal in Canada, so they are pretty old. I don't think Regal makes cards anymore, or if it even exists. This interesting lithograph I thought was kind of cute. And this particular one was mouth painted, so I thought that one was interesting and really well done. Christmas and Cardinals, always a good combination. And this one's just a thought, I'm thinking of you kind of card. And then this little box full of tiny cards, really cute as well. They have a hole in them, so probably you would put them on a gift or a gift bag or something. I thought that was a cute little box. And some for the shower. If you went to a shower, you would either put money in it and bring it, or just bring a gift and then put that on the gift. And here's some old church accessories, I guess you'd call them. Little gloves and a couple of little napkins. You can still smell the perfume on some of these napkins, which is interesting. So it might have been something else that was in the bins, but usually it's something that doesn't smell so great. So these are also interesting. I have a bunch of old gloves. I'm trying to figure out if there's a market for them, or if I just need to donate them or whatever. But if there is, they might be a good Etsy fit, so I could put them on Etsy. This has nice detailing, a tiny flower on it. So those are cute. They might belong to a child or a teenager, because they seem kind of small. And then I have some books as well that I picked up that I just thought were pretty good. They'd be a good fit in my booth as well. I've never heard of Naughty, but I know some people who know that brand, so I picked that up. The Wagon Train. This series of books were from TVs and movies. They sold quite well at the time because people wanted to continue the stories that they were watching on Saturday nights or whatever. They don't sell very well. This one they tried to get $10 for it. Obviously that wasn't going to sell. So you need someone who knows that brand, someone who remembers it and liked it enough that they would spend money on it to relive that feeling. I would put it in my booth for about $2, and it would probably move a lot quicker that way. And then you've got Hansel and Gretel here. These were puppet books. What they did was they staged the puppets and took the pictures, and they always creeped me out. Was never a big fan of these, but I'm sure someone out there would look at it and say, hey, I remember I had that book, and they might pick it up to read to their kid. And then there's these comic books. They always do pretty well. I would probably put $1 on each of these as well. I might read them before I do, though, because I remember reading them as a kid as well, especially Animal Crackers. And here is a Storybook Gardens coloring book. I used to have this coloring book, I believe. The artist is Ting, and Ting was a local artist here in London. He also did political comics for the local papers, and I believe he went national as well because his style was just really popular at the time. Had a really nice look to it. This particular book I thought was interesting because it featured some of the what was available at that park, like the Play World, Little Miss Muffet featured. So it's not in great condition, but I thought it was kind of fun. And then you have Harvey's Hideout. Never heard of him, but I thought it was really cute. Quite striking colors and in really good condition with no smell, no odor. So I try to find that in a good book as well, that I can bring to my booth. And this is more of a teaching book. I picked that up because it's not been used, and there's also some stickers that were also still in here. They were not used either, so I thought, oh, I'm going to pick that up because you never know if there's a homeschooler or someone who just wants their kid to learn a few things. They may pick that up for fun. And just a few more things to show you. I picked up this bag of pride flags. There's like 50 in here. I guess that was a little too much pride for someone and they tossed it, so it ended up at the outlet. I'm sure I could sell a couple of those, so I picked that up. This little guy, no idea, never saw him before, but I thought he was interesting, so yeah, picked him up as well. A tiny little golden book. I see them around sometimes, and I've never seen this one, so I'll add that to my collection, and I'll sell that in my booth as well, eventually. And a, I guess that's a baseball Pez dispenser, so I'll add that to my Pez collection. I think this is Squirtle from Pokemon. He is a luggage tag, and yeah, that's still sealed, so I'm sure that'll sell. And last but not least of that little group, I've got this Boule, which I haven't found one of those in a while, and it always amazes me when I find them at the outlet because it's like a tiny item in these big blue bins, and I can spot them when they're in there, so I was happy to rescue him for sure because this is my jam. These are my guys, so I love that. Oh, and I got a couple of larger ones as well. So this fella, he's a Dorme. Dorme is out of China, and he's probably from the 80s or 90s. It's quite a large and heavy one, so that's interesting. And I also picked up this one. And I'd never seen this mold before. I thought his head was quite interesting. So yeah. And then I picked up this, which I think I'm going to paint it because it's kind of bland and boring. So I think I'm going to paint it and then decorate it up for the holidays and sell that in my booth because that will look really good. And just got to get a couple of votives for there and something for the sleigh, and away we go. I always keep my eye open for Godzilla because he's always been popular, still going strong after what, 60 years. This particular one is a knockoff, I believe, but he's larger than I usually see him as well. Usually they're about half the size, but this one's in really good condition. And again, it just goes to show all these variations that you can find out there. Color variations, size variations. I guess it's really the only two. Yeah, it's just really cool. And I found him with his buddy here, who also is larger than I usually find, but I enjoy that. I enjoy finding these things. Well, now for the moment we've been waiting for. Let's take a look at that scratch ticket and see what we've got. Oh well. So I'm not a winner. What can you do? But even if I had won anything on this, it says that it expired June 31st, 2020. So if I did win something, I would have been awfully upset that it was no longer eligible for collection. Oh well, it was fun. Thanks for watching.